interviewed, and we can't obviously interview all of them, but thank you so much for everyone who did get in touch.
Yeah,
we've got a few of the choice cuts that didn't make the grade.
We were tapping quite a rich seam. Martin in Bristol, I'd be a good person to interview. You could interview my whole family. I'm a carpenter, my partner's a hypnotherapist. My daughters Lola and Phoebe are 6 and 4. They're growing up listening to 6 music. My partner says I've got a dodgy past. I think not. You know, there's a lot we could do with that. A lot we could do with that. Claudia in Devon. Yesterday I thought I might have broken my ankle playing rugby with my dog. Turns out that I haven't, but I do have a swelling the size of a medium onion on my ankle. I mean, that would have been 10 minutes of Sony Gold there.
It's a shame. We were fools to ourselves talking to the lady who took a circus to Iraq. But sure, if you'd had perhaps a slightly larger onion-shaped bruise, you'd have been on the air.
Absolutely. It's fair to say Jo didn't plug a book, but there is a book called Don't Shoot the Clowns, which she's written detailing her exploits.
Thank you very much indeed. Okay, we're entering the pigeonhole then. 3 new releases. Some big names, kick-starting with Madness, who have a new tune May 11th. Here it is. It's called Dust Devil. A new single from Madness, that's called Dust Devil, and it's released on the 11th of May. And Madness this year will be hosting another of their popular Madstock events, and there's also a whole new album as well. Harry, I'm sure in the glory days of the Nutty Boys you were right there at the front of the barricades. It must be tricky when you're a band like Madness, who obviously is still one of Britain's, best loved groups, but do we need any more Madness?
Well, this is it, 15 years ago to the day, Kurt Cobain blew his face off, and that's the way to stop comebacks. I wouldn't suggest that Madness did that.
Don't get Suggs to do something like that.
No, of course,
He's a
because
lovely guy.
Madness are justifiably well loved because they've got a fabulous back catalogue. They seem like wonderful, charming blokes. They still put on a great live show. Do we need any more new music from them? On the basis of that, maybe not. It was inoffensive, but
It's always tricky, isn't it, when Suggs has gone from the heights of Night Fever on Channel 5 and he's got to go back to his roots as a singer. But I've always been a Madness fan. I think that was one of my the first cassettes that I bought. May well have been the greatest hits of Madness, Ultimate Madness, and it was an absolute treat. But they sort of slowly lost favour with the British public, and it's strange now they have to sort of trade on past glories. Is there a space for new Madness in your life?
There might be, Steve. Rather like Harry, I wasn't convinced at all, but rather Madness rather remind me of a kind of an old-fashioned musical or a big street scene in Oliver, in which various bad-tempered laundrywomen and policemen are kind of cursing all the dancing happening around, but by the end they're joining in and they're loving it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I felt during the song. Finally, I was the washerwoman putting aside her laundry just for a minute in order to get involved in the synchronised dancing.
At the school discos, which you no doubt still attend, Sammy, are they still playing Baggy Trousers and House of Fun?
Back in the day, I think they did play Baggy Trousers. But, see, nowadays children don't get good music like that. It's all Bass Hunter and N-Dubs. N-Dubs,
N-Dubs? What?
I served Dappy from N-Dubs a Ferrero Rocher milkshake yesterday.
There are so many words in that sentence I don't understand. Starting with N-Dubs.
There's some sort of hit parade musical act,
Sure.
Dappy being the lead shouter.
Yes.
But yes,
Is that what they're called now?
I don't know. Spitter?
There's no vocalists anymore, spitters, shouters. I am a top shouter.
Yeah, but that was my, that's probably my new claim to fame. Forget your claim, Steve. It's definitely Dappy from N-Dubs now. I like that. It's a nice, good summertime hit, and it's something that older people can get involved with as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Listen, I know what a lot of you have been thinking throughout the course of today's programme. When will Johnny Cash get remixed for 2009 by the likes of Alabama 3, Pete Rock, Machine Drum, Buck 65, and of course Count the Money? Well, don't worry guys, it's happened. It's released 15th of June. It is the Johnny Cash remix CD with bonus DVD documentary, and it's difficult to choose one single tune from it that illustrates it at its best, but I know you, Harry, have certainly always looked forward to that day when there would be a mashup twixt Cash and Snoop Dogg. Well, here it is. Here it is, Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash Snoop Dogg mix. Snoop Dogg, Johnny Cash, together at last. It says here in the literature that accompanies the album that it has the blessing of the custodians of Johnny Cash's incredible legacy, including his son John Carter Cash. When Snoop Dogg turned that in, do you think that the custodians of the Cash legacy were pleased?
Shame on you, John Carter Cash. That's literally the worst thing we've ever played. In fact, that anyone's ever played on Six Music. It's an utter disgrace, isn't it? Let's start off gentle. if you go into the record shop or you go online and you buy it, what you're going to be buying it is because it says Snoop Dogg, Johnny Cash, remix, Walk the Line. He then tells you that in the first 30 seconds of the song. You know, that's superfluous information. And then it's just that words fail me. It was utterly horrific.
Your face, Rufus, as we began it, was quite remarkable. Hopefully people will have seen that on the webcam. I suspect, reading your face, now I'm quite the master of that, you weren't such a fan.
No, I tried to cover my eyes and my mouth with my hands, but I couldn't cover my ears because I had the earphones on. That's one of the worst pieces of music I've ever heard. It's the most offensive, ridiculous things I've ever heard. The idea of prompting a now dead legend with, but why? Tell him why. I don't know why they've put Johnny Cash's voice so low in the mix that you can barely hear it. I don't understand who they're trying to sell it to, because Johnny Cash fans will burn this CD if they see it, and Snoop Dogg fans are going to go, this is nonsense. And it's in the wrong. They've mixed the vocal and the new bass line in the wrong key. The bass line clashes really, really badly with the original music, so it's misguided. A really offensive and wholly inappropriate piece of music.
Sammy, you are in a way partly responsible for this because let me explain why. Because you are, as we've said many times, the youth, and presumably this is an attempt to appeal to the youth. Is it appealing?
Not even a little bit appealing. The Clash Rufus was talking about almost created the Devil's Code. I don't know if you hear that makes you clench and feel a bit like you're in a horror film. My dad looks a bit like Snoop Dogg, and that actually makes me want to punch my dad in the face.
Wow. We've never, of course, met your father, but he looks a bit like Snoop Dogg.
I think he looks a bit like Snoop Dogg. But my friend once commented he looks a bit like Justin Timberlake, so I'll let you be the judge.
That's quite remarkable. Okay, well, we'll move quickly on to the new tune from the Manic Street Preachers. They are back. New album, Journal for Plague Lovers, and this is a track from it. Jackie Collins' Existential Question Time. Manic Street Preachers, Jackie Collins' Existential Question Time, released on the 17th of May. Harry, I seem to recall when we were younger, in our formative years, Manic Street Preachers were, they were quite the band. I remember seeing them at Glastonbury. They came on with this sort of paramilitary gear. It was all very intense, lots of barbed wire guitars. And so obviously since then they've become the sort of band that you might well find on a Jeremy Clarkson driving CD.
Yeah.
Is that necessarily a bad thing? They've become more popular. Why should that be a criticism?
Well, the thing with the Manics is they never wanted to fit in, did they? They kind of chopped and changed their styles around the early albums, and I kind of lost interest when it all got a bit overblown in the Britpop years. They were a bit difficult to listen to, I found, but that was enjoyable. Apparently using Richie Edwards lyrics.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know, it was a nice tune. I like the Manics. Again, they just seem like a nice bunch of guys. My mum often sees the drummer in Astor in Longwell Green.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a nice little tidbit. Well, I don't know what Rufus is doing. He seems to be what are you doing? You counting?
Well, what I often do, Steve, is try and work out whether or not some of our song titles are iambic pentameters.
Sure.
And this is 1.5 iambic pentameters.
Okay.
I think my last favourite song was the Black Kids song? I'm not going to teach my girlfriend how to dance with you. I enjoyed that. I've never liked the Manics very much, and it was annoying that I was really, really trying to listen to the lyrics very, very hard, but I couldn't quite make it out, and we couldn't find them anywhere on the internet either, so I was frustrated that I couldn't judge whether or not they were as funny as they ought to have been with a title like that. But I like the song.
All I could hear was the refrain, "Mummy, what's a Sex Pistol?"
Yeah.
I'm presuming that's a question that the likes of young Sammy might ask.
No. I don't want to get myself into those waters with my parents. That was, quite frankly, audio ambrosia compared to the last track, which it's really cheered me up at the end of this pigeonhole. I really love the Manic Street Preachers. They are in my top 5 favourite albums, and it's nice to hear a big thumpy return that isn't particularly mainstream.
Good little round of applause for the Manics. They've won us over. Alright, well, that's pretty much it, guys. I want to squeeze in one tune before the end. Luke Temple, Rufus. I know your ears perked up when I mentioned young Temple.
Yeah.
The indie folk singer-songwriter born in Salem, Massachusetts.
That's right, in 19...
You know it.
Yeah.
He put out 2 albums, of course, and I'm going to play a tune from his first one, 2005's. You've got
Temple.
to hold a match for a gasoline world. This is the tune, Make Right With You. So thank you so much indeed for listening. Stuart McConey, I presume, is next. He'll have something eccentric and kooky. And we are out of here. Sorry, Sammy, what are you talking about?
We're not here next week.
Are we not?
No.
Oh, we are, aren't we?
You were pre-recorded, but we're not actually physically here.
They wouldn't have known. You've ruined it.
I'm a very honest person. Goodbye.
Modest Mouse dashboard kickstarting this Easter edition of the Steve Show. A happy Easter to one and all. Plus, of course, it's a day of multiple celebrations. Not only did the little baby Jesus crawl out of a cave led by an Easter bunny singing Sweet Hosanna.
That's
But
exactly
also,
right.
I don't know my Old Testament as well as my New, but there you are. I know plenty. Do not get in touch if you feel I've made any errors. We are on tape, people. This is not live. You cannot get in touch with us.
So we'll have to assume that that's correct.
That's absolutely correct. Do not worry. The BBC would not broadcast anything of which it would ever be ashamed or criticised. But, of course, it's not just the little baby Jesus' happy Easter. It is also a very happy birthday to Harry. Round of applause.
Thank you very
Harry,
much.
who,
Thank you very much.
There's a round of applause here, and you know, maybe one or two regular listeners care. The average Shakes Music listener cares not. They would prefer music, more music, endless music.
Yeah, exactly.
New music.
It's like, you know, everyone has birthdays, just get some bloody new music on.
Exactly. But no, we're going to take a pause here to celebrate the many years you have been alive.
Yeah.
And I and ahed about what to get you.
Oh, God.
And I didn't get you anything. I'll tell you why.
Oh, no, that's...
Can I tell you why?
Go on.
I forgot.
Really?
Yes. I'll tell you what I did and ah about. Should I BS you and pretend that it's at home and I forgot it and stuff like that? And I thought, you know what? I've known you long enough.
Yeah.
And I have neglected to buy you gifts so many times that it's better now I just come up front about it and say it.
No, that's fair, because you'll remember I bought you a very thoughtful present for your birthday, didn't I, last year? You know,
Now-
very nice glasses. They were
Remind
nice,
me
antique,
again.
weren't they?
They were great.
Antique glasses.
Now, don't think I'm not going to get a great gift. Now that you've reminded me of those. But I'll be honest with you, Har. I am slightly riding on that tremendous gift I got you some time back. Do you remember?
Well, it's still got pride of place on the mantelpiece. My birthday cards today are scattered around it. It's still central.
And like some kind of amazing monolith from film 2001, or indeed a holy cross lit up outside a church today to celebrate the little baby Jesus's bar mitzvah. You want to? I don't know if you want to mention to people what that gift was, because I think it's probably the greatest achievement of my life.
Well, it's a stunning gift. Open brackets. It cost Steve nothing. But it's a birthday card.
Well, it's priceless.
Well, it is priceless. It's a birthday card with a drawing of Homer Simpson by Matt Groening, with Homer saying "Yellow Harry," and it's stunning. And it's framed. It's come to my house and rob me if you're called Harry and like the Simpsons.
Read that and weep, Rufus. I have never got you anything even coming close to that.
You saw my face fall about 4 feet there, didn't you?
Yeah.
You got a personalised present from Greening for
It's
Harry.
incredible.
That's what I'm capable of.
Yeah.
If I put my mind to it, if I for once stop thinking about myself, that's the sort of thing I can achieve. And yet only once in the, 34 odd years that we've known each other, we were born the same day in the same bed,
Alongside
amazingly.
Jesus.
Alongside little baby Jesus, who's celebrating Halloween today. But anyway, listen, enough about Harry. It is his special day. Obviously the show very much dedicated to him, but of course he's not alone in providing some you know, sort of wittering on today's pre-recorded show. We've also got the lovely Rufus with us.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Super posh.
Hello,
And
Easter listeners.
We've also got the lovely Sammy from the North.
Hello.
I will come back to you people, but you know, time is very much against us. We've got to cram in lots of music, both new and old. Do you remember the old mantra of the show? And it's not, new music doesn't necessarily have to be brand new music, it just be music that is new to you, the listener, and perhaps this one is De La Soul featuring Mos Def, or Mos Def, depending on how you wish to mispronounce his name, and the tune Big Beat Brother.
Wait up.
From their 1996 album Stakes is High, and the tune which introduced Mos Def to a wide audience. That's Big Beat Brother by De La Soul. Steve Show 6 Music with me and my gang of